everybody, happy Thursday and welcome to the creative writing class that we like to call Picture This. It is I, your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Seavey, and happy Thursday, everybody. And what is Picture This? Picture This is when I show you an image, a photograph, an image of, whatever, and we have to write something creative based on what we're looking at. Sometimes I go on to, Google Images and scour the internet looking for a picture that's just going to jump out of the screen and grab me by the nose and say, hey, look at me, And, and sometimes it's colorful. Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's, you don't really know what it is, it could be very abstract, so it all depends on what, I don't know. A lot of times it has, I don't know. It just tells me when it's the right one. I could look at a million pictures and maybe even that same picture on a different day won't affect me the way that will on this day. So, it just, but I pick a photograph and then you and I have to write. Well, I always think in terms of a songwriter, so I write it in the way of a chorus, like a song, a hook, as I like to call. Choruses are hooks to me, and what that means is that's the part of the song that pulls you into it. So when I look at a photograph for this class, this exercise in particular, I'm always thinking of writing a chorus. So when I look at a picture that jumps out at me, it always, it's always going to be something for me personally that makes me think of something. It makes me think something emotion because, music comes from sheer emotion. For me, it does. And I look at that image and it just makes me want to be creative and write something about, something of it. And I always say it like this, like pretend you're watching a movie, right? And you pause that movie suddenly. You don't know what's going to happen, especially if it's not a movie you've ever seen before. So this exercise is designed that if you were to pause a movie, you don't know what's going to happen next. You have to write what's going to happen next, or what's going to happen based on this picture. Someone's about to jump off of something real high. You don't know if it's a cliff, if it's just, 2 feet off the ground. You don't know. You can only assume. So if you were pausing the movie right before that action, your job is to write whatever you think is going to happen after that, right? And if you're imaginative and you have a great imagination, well, then you can come up with a million scenarios as to what's going to happen following that, right? But also, the picture should tell you a story of some sort, especially if you open your mind and really allow it to, And again, I tell you guys this all the time. There's no wrong way to do this. This is 100% your creative outlet. So you write whatever you feel based on what you're looking at. As long as it rhymes and tells some sort of a story. That's it. And even the picture doesn't have to dictate what it makes you think about. You could have a picture of a scarecrow and you would write something about, whatever that picture makes you think about. It could be about your sister, because you and your sister built a scarecrow on Halloween when you guys were 7 years old. That scarecrow to someone else might mean something totally different. But when you see the scarecrow, it makes you think about when you and your sister built a scarecrow for Halloween and it was really funny and you had a great time doing it or whatever. It brings back all these emotional memories. So, like I said, there's no wrong way to execute this exercise. It's entirely up to you. Whatever you see in the picture and what you write about is personal. So It's just a springboard to be creative, you know. A lot of times I'm not always creative and I need help. I need help getting in touch with my creative side. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I was doing a bunch of, grown-up stuff, paying bills and answering business emails or whatever, and I'm not feeling creative at that moment. So, a good way to get in touch with your creative side. Well, for me, a lot of times is I watch movies, I look at images, I listen to music, and all these things kind of rub off on me. And I start thinking about things. I start getting in touch with my creative side because I've always had a pretty good and vivid imagination. And I know I'm not the only one. I mean, everyone has a pretty good imagination. When you really get up in here and really think about, you can daydream. I mean, how many people daydream? I daydream all the time, even if it's little for 2 minutes. You can be taken away in 2 minutes, just sitting on your couch going over a laundry list, and suddenly you're not thinking about the laundry anymore. You're like a knight riding on a horse, or you're swinging on a vine like Tarzan across the giant mountain and canyon or something. I mean, you whatever you think of in that 2 minute, 3 minutes, that's entirely up to you. But it's really neat how you can have these little mini daydreams and suddenly you're transported somewhere, based on a minute of letting go. So what this is going to do, it's going to force you to look at an image, a picture. And then after you look at the picture for a while, then I want you to daydream. I really want you to go way deep in here and daydream. Get in there and really picture something. And then and only then, after you really have some great ideas from those daydreams, write them down. Write them down in a book, in your little notebook. See, I always have my notebook. Write everything down. Just like points, thought about, I had a day, I looked at this picture and I daydreamed that I was robbing a bank. I know you're not a bad person. That's just a dream. It's just, you're not really going to go out and rob a bank. But what I'm saying is you can go there mentally. You're not really going to do it. It's fun to pretend in your mind that you're doing things that you normally wouldn't do, or in real life you would never do that. That's the fun of daydreaming, you know what I mean? Because you're not really doing anything wrong. You're having a little adventure up here. Well, it's the same thing. So I want you to look at this image. I'm about to show you an image. I want you to look at the image. I want you to focus on it. I want you to go in a room and lock the door, or shut the door at least. Put your do not disturb on your phone unless you're using it for the research. And just go in a room by yourself. Get in touch with with your creative side. And just think about this, okay? Because this still is a songwriting exercise. So it's got to turn out into a song in some way. It's got to rhyme. Like I said, it's got to make sense. It's got to tell some sort of a story. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the image. Okay. Here it is. All right, guys, what did you think of that image, right? The guy's taking his face off like a mask, and then behind his face, you can see in his mind, he looks worried, and the phone is off the hook, and he's kind of like this, To me, I'll explain what I felt for that. It almost felt like he's running away from something, but he's wearing a mask, pretending that he's happy because the face looks not ecstatically happy, but it's more of a, it's not a frown or a scowl. It's just like an even keel face, right? But in his mind, you can see that he's very distraught. He's very, something is really, really bothering him. So, of course, I let my mind go way out there, and I came up with a whole concept about what I saw. Okay. And this is what I wrote. I'm starting to feel I'm always getting the blame. I'm starting to see I'm just a pawn in a game. I'm pretending that I love you, but you put out my flame. I'm starting to feel that I'm not feeling the same. So, he's been noticing that it's been building up and building up, that he doesn't feel the way he did before, which is why the phone's off the hook. He's totally avoiding someone, obviously a person. And of course I equate it to a relationship, because that's where the best songs live, is in the heart and the mind and the spirit, right? And people can really, as a songwriter, you want to touch as many people as you can with thoughts and emotions. And where else better to reach people, especially the public, the buying public, is through the heart. They say the best way to show a man love is through his stomach. So if you're a good cook, usually you can capture somebody's heart through their stomach, feeding them, right? Well, the best way as a musician to touch people is through their heart, to identify that everyone goes through these feelings. You're not alone. That's the whole thing. The turn on for me of writing songs is touching people that I've never met before, emotionally, getting connected with somebody all the way in Germany. Someone could listen to your song and you could touch them emotionally. And that to me is just, it's beyond words for me. So, well, that's what I came up with. I hope you like this, and I can't wait to see what you wrote based on the image that I've just shown you. All right, guys, that is all the time that we have tonight. This is your songwriting partner, your co-producer, and as always, your friend Joe Sebi signing off. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to give birth to a melody for this chorus. All right, guys? So until I see you guys tomorrow, I love you. I miss you. Be safe and sleep well. All right. Peace.